the situation you went through has been an eye-opener. Which eye-opener, if I should say, is going to help you in terms of how you assess your minister in policy formulation in that area of dual citizenship and solving people's problems, correct?
That is correct. Thank you.
You mentioned Professor Asari, and you've stated him as your referee. I'm sure we should be seeing an amendment to our constitution soon, correct?
That is correct. In fact, last parliament it was tabled. I'm sure Minority Leader, you were very much aware of it.
Yeah, everything went with the 8th parliament. So are you ready to initiate that process again?
Thank you. Yes, and I will seek your counsel and support to initiate this amendment because it's going to help our country. Thank you.
Yes, so should we expect your government to support this initiative at least by end of year?
I'm very convinced that my government, current government, will support it. I even believe the previous government was in support of that as well. Thank you.
Now let's look at strategic positioning of Ghana vis-a-vis its relationship with the great powers. There seems to be a wind of unilateralism blowing among some great powers, and countries like Ghana seem to be very much left in the cold. How do you hope that a country like Ghana that is going to be affected by this new wind blowing to, as it were, position itself to create some economic empowerment, provide social services for its people?
Thank you. I think Ghana has all along laid the foundation for such eventualities due to our non-aligned policy. You see, I shared earlier that if you commit yourself to a specific direction, then you can be caught with your hands down. Ghana, from independence, has been a non-aligned and also a strong pro-African. And with our vision and with our international policy, foreign affairs policy, I think Ghana still stands a ground that we will not. I am very convinced that we just need to arrange our resources, get appropriate stakeholders, those who want to do business with us, but not to interfere with our internal affairs. And we should be able to endure any challenges that comes along, adding value to our raw materials. We get into those things, give the youth a purpose of life. And in Americans right now, I could see it's just, I'm always of the adage that no condition is permanent. And so one way or the other, it's just this Trump administration that has initiated this whole thing, which other countries are responding, trying to be of a nationalist nature. But that is not the fundamental value or belief of Americans. And so with time, I think things will be able to line up. But this also cautions us to make sure that we develop our own background to be able to be sustainable. Thank you.
Honorable nominee, you make a very striking and profound statement, which I agree with. Now, what are the systemic weaknesses that you find your few years in Ghana, you are saying we have to build the structures, we have to do this, we have to do that. We have to empower the youth. We have to be independent. What are the weaknesses that you find?
Thank you. To be honest with you, Mr. Chair, the weaknesses I find is, unfortunately, our partisan attitude. We should find a better way to build this country together. We should not go after one another's party just for the sake of being a member of a party. This is something that I found it very strange when I, as you mentioned, my few years here. And if I think it's almost as though if we have to find a way to reset our own minds. We've talked about resetting the country, but let's reset our minds, because the person doing the resetting, of course, is generating from your own senses, right? So if you are always doing things thinking that I'm going to discredit this government because I'm not part of the party, it's affecting everybody. So, and we need to also develop some national agenda, something that we could work towards. If it's a 40 years, a 50 years, let's set up a national agenda so that I've seen in my own community, constituent, when I came, they was able to identify about 5 projects that were abandoned. Projects that have reached almost 60% completion, 40% completion. Resources went in. But for the sake of change of administration, they rather will go build a new one. But at the end of the day, it goes to the same people. And this is one of my frustrations that I'm finding very difficult to understand. But I know as time goes, we are a young democracy, so sometimes I say, well, maybe we are too hard on ourselves, but we have a lot around us to learn from. When those democracies were going on, they didn't have anywhere to look at for an example. Here we have it. So why are we not using that opportunity and throwing punches at each other? That's all my prayers, that one day, someday to come, Africans will realize that we are our own enemies. There's no external enemy. The enemy is within us. And we need to wake up. Because if I get rich and my neighbor is poor, what is the value? We live here, and everybody's house is walled. When I first came about 10 years ago, I wanted to build a house. I told my contractor, I don't need a wall. Well, you know what he said to me? Then your house is where the thieves will be having a meeting. I said, why? I've never lived, even when I was growing up in our house in Cape Coast and Asenfosu, there was no fence walls. I live in Canada till 2020, there were no fence walls. I'm sure most of you have traveled there. Here, when you're building a house, the first thing you build is a wall. Because even the materials you put there, they're going to steal it. Why? Because you don't have, if you have a meaningful work to do, are you going to waste your time and go to somebody's house and lift a shovel or lift some electricity cables? No. But because at the end of the day, they have to survive. So please, let's I don't want to get much into that, Honorable Member. But the answer to your question is that I'll be able to assist in that direction. Thank you.
Before I go on, you said you lived in Canada to 2020. Now, I know you gave up your citizenship. Currently, when you go into Canada, do you go take visa from the High Commission or you have a residence permit?
Absolutely. I'm on a visa.
Very well. So let's go back to that important matter that you raised. Do you think that as political leaders, we have a lot of work to do to change the attitude of our youth, including ourselves?
Thank you. I think we have the onerous responsibility to change. You see, our youth are looking at us. They look at what I will say to you and you will say to me. So when it's handed down, they're just going to practice the same. So if we change our attitude, I'm very positive the youth and the rest of the nation will look at it differently. No, I don't want to be seen as someone who is antagonistic or who is trying to be divisive. You embrace people as who they are and work with them. Political parties, of course, they have the agenda to win elections and form governments. But the opposition, there's always going to be one party at the opposition. Job is to direct and steer the ruling government, not to pull it down. Because if you have 58% of the population in support of you and 42 is against, are you running only 58% of the population? No, we're running the entire country. So I applaud President Mohammed's initiative that, at least he's setting the tone.